Welcome to welcome to the webinar. Thanks for your patience with our slight technical issues at the start. But yeah, we're here to talk about the Welsh Water graduate program, and on the call we've got people who have been part of the program, past and present, and we're all on sort of various stages along our journey in our careers through the graduate program. So on the panel, there's 6 of us who are sort of current and former graduates, and yeah, the training graduate program is now live, and applications are open. So yeah, we're going to start off with the first of our polls. Can somebody bring that up? Okay, so apologies. In the polls bar. So just as an initial guess, if anybody has any idea how many engineers there are in Welsh Water's capital delivery program, are you all able to access that? Okay, if you could all cast your votes. So I've no idea how to publish the correct answer, but there are 34 of us in the team at the moment. So we work in an alliance that delivers engineering projects on behalf of Welsh Water's customers throughout Wales. So just to sort of tell you a bit about what it's like being a graduate at Welsh Water, you'll be joining and providing engineering support to the major sort of investment program that Welsh Water has through AMP7, which is one of our regulatory periods and beyond. So the projects in the program vary in scale and complexity, and encompass doing maintenance and improvement work to all of Welsh Water's assets. And this could include projects on dams, pipelines, treatment works, pumping stations, and various other random assets that we have within the estate in Wales and in adjoining parts of England that are part of Welsh Water's operating area. So yeah, and on the program, you'll join a team of highly skilled engineers. So as we were mentioning in the poll, there's 34 of us. There's a wide range of experience in there. There's current graduates, there's assistant engineers, engineers, chartered engineers, senior engineers, and principal engineers. So people who have got a really sort of wide range of experience in the water industry. You'll undertake feasibility studies, work on detailed design of our projects. You'll get the opportunity to develop not only technical skills but project management skills, learning about managing internal and external stakeholders when leading on projects for us. You'll work with our partners and our supply chain as part of delivering projects. One of the key benefits is that we have accredited training programs with the various institutions that sort of give you an opportunity to attain professional membership after you've graduated. So, for example, becoming a chartered engineer. As well as all of that, there's comprehensive training within Welsh Water, both delivered internally and externally, and an opportunity to work with some of the industry leaders in the sector. So, for example, on the dams program, you get to work with with all reservoir panel engineers, for example, and yeah, there's some really interesting interfaces that you get to be part of. So just to give you an idea of some of the journeys our graduates have gone on, we're going to sort of introduce you to a couple of process engineers who've joined us recently, and they're going to talk you about how they came into Welsh Water and into the program, and talk about some interesting projects that they've been part of. So hopefully the slides are moving on to you guys.
Hello, my name is Dalal Ahmed. My current role in Welsh Water is as an assistant process engineer, part of the process engineering team, and I've been with Welsh Water for 2 years. I studied BNG Chemical Engineering at Swansea University and graduated in 2018, and joined Welsh Water graduate program in September 2020, and now as a graduate process engineer. Like I said, I just recently came off the graduate program became an assistant process engineer and currently working towards my chartership. Passing on to Holly.
So, hi, I'm Holly Davis. I've been with Welsh Water for 5 years now. So I joined the graduate scheme in 2017. So I'm an assistant process engineer and due to be a process engineer within the next couple of months. So coming off my development plan. Not sure if we want to go to the poll and then to the...
Yeah, so the second poll, apologies, I missed that one on I couldn't see that on screen. So approximately how much money do you think Welsh Water spends on capital delivery projects every day in and around Wales? So we could all cast your vote. So a moment or two so everybody can get their votes in. There we go, we've got the majority. So yeah, you're almost there. So yeah, Welsh Water does spend roughly £1 million per day on capital engineering projects in and around Wales. It's part of a £1.5 billion investment program, this AMP, and that's delivered by the team that we're introducing today, and some of our alliance partners as well. So it's a high volume of work, and there's lots and lots of opportunities to be part of that. So if we move on to our mechanical graduate, Nikki.
Good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, my name is Nicky Curcio. I'm an assistant mechanical engineer at Welsh Water. So I started on the Welsh Water graduate program back in 2017, and this was after completing my bachelor's in mechanical engineering at Swansea University. So during my sort of 2-year graduate program, I spent 2 placements in the engineering delivery team. And then I sort of moved on, then I rotated around the business a bit just to get a bit of experience and just see the sort of the different types of operations and processes we have. I then went on to a placement working with the distribution team, and I sort of went around with the different operators. That was pretty good for me. So I went around and I was able to sort of see all these big assets that we got, and how all of them all sort of link up with the network and the different catchments that they're in, and the sort of the different sort of levels of customers that they sort of facilitate. And then I moved on to a placement then in a project delivery team. So I sort of worked alongside a project manager, sort of in a coordination role. So we could see sort of how the delivery operations works and goes hand in hand with the engineering delivery team. And then after that, then I moved on to a placement then with the asset team. So I was sort of in a solutions engineering sort of role. And I would see sort of firsthand at the very front end of a project, sort of how we sort of all form together and sort of risks and metrics that they look at to form a project. When I came off my assistant mechanical engineering, when I came off my grad program, I became an assistant mechanical engineer. I'm currently in a process now of finishing off my final stage of my personal development plan. So I'll soon be moving up the ranks and onto a mechanical engineer. But Welsh Water is a good company to work for because they continuously looking to develop their engineers. So they sponsored me to do my master's degree in engineering management, which is a good benefit really because you sort of earn what you learn without the stress then of student debts that you can get yourselves into. And they also positively look into help me gain my chartership, with the institution of mechanical engineers. So they'll help you get developed then onto your chosen institution. And currently I'm just working on various projects across wastewater and water departments, sort of covering assets from West Wales right up to Central and Mid Wales. So one interesting project that I worked on, so the pictures that you see on screen, this was sort of taken during a project at Rosebush Reservoir, which was down West Wales. So basically this was a civil engineering job. And they were looking to change the pipework and valves inside the dam, but they needed mechanical support for the temporary works. So they were required to continue to pass forward flow to Briselli works, maintaining a conversation flow. So sort of my role on this scheme was to look at different options on how we continue to pass water from the reservoir further downstream. So obviously the obvious option was over pumping. But that would be sort of expensive and bad for the environment because of the amount of diesel that we use, and he required it for 24 hours a day. So it'd be quite a costly sort of solution. So what you're looking at on screen is quite a sustainable solution, just due down to siphoning, and without going into the nitty gritty of it, really, it's essentially creating a vacuum within the pipework, which sort of pulls up the water, sucks up the water from the reservoir up over to the dam wall, and then sort of gravity does its thing there. And this was a successful solution. It was, remained reliable for its duration, and was quite cost effective and green. I'm not sure if Andrew's there. To Andrew.
Yeah, can you hear me all right? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, brilliant. So my name's Andrew. I started the graduate program in 2016, so I've been with Welsh Water for approximately 6 years.
I'm not sure if Andrew's there, Gareth. We may want to continue.
Yeah, we can hear you, Andrew. Carry on.
Yeah. So the graduate program 2016. So I undertook 3 placements over the 2 years. So one within the engineering delivery team as an electrical design engineer. Then I went into the statutory maintenance team and worked alongside the electrical safety manager. And then I did a placement with one of our partners called Arcadis. So I was able to learn their design process and see what the difference is between Welsh Water's internal design team process and the partners. So then after the end of the 2 years, I became an assistant electrical design engineer back within the engineering delivery team, where I progressed with my development plan over a 2-year period till I became a fully fledged electrical engineer. So again, the same with Nikki. I was supported by Welsh Water to complete my master's in IT and electronics. Since I've completed that now, I'm working towards my chartership. So I'm hoping to put my application in April next year. And just like Nikki said, the great thing with Welsh Water is they're continuing to support and develop us as best we can. And one of the great things about the grad program is I was able to direct my placements. So anything I wanted to learn more about or felt it would help with my career, they were on board in putting me in that area of the business. So, Gad, you want to go to the next slide for me, please? So on screen there's just a picture of one of our pumping stations down in West Wales. So between the end of November and December last year, I was given 3 projects down west, 3 pumping stations that needed to be delivered and installed by the end of July this year to meet with high demands in the water network down west. So this one you're looking at here is a brand new pumping station that was a package plant done by one of our suppliers, Grundfos. So as the electrical engineer on here, I was required to liaise with Western Power to get a new electrical supply, and then liaise with Grundfos to confirm our control requirements, review their schematic diagrams and confirm the layout within the kiosk. One of the other pumping stations then was Corner Piece. That was which required, that's it, go on again. That's it. So there's a new motor control center then which we had to put in here. So again, I was required to undertake harmonic surveys at the site, model the variable speed drives we were going to put in to check if we need any harmonic mitigation, produce a single line diagram, review the schematics then from the motor control center supplier, and then we turn up to do functional acceptance testing in their factory. And I was involved in commissioning then on site only about 4 to 6 weeks ago, where we successfully started the pumps. I think one of the biggest challenges with that project was to install temporary pumping. So we need to ensure that the pumping station maintains flows to the reservoir supplying. And that's one of the considerations we have to always look at with any of our sites, and any work that we do is obviously the sites have to continue running no matter what stuff we're sort of doing. So there's always big thoughts behind the temporary works. So, but if you've got any more questions on that, just pop them in the chat. But I'll pass you on to Will now.
So just before we start with Will, we've got another poll. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. The third poll, is that on screen? So how many sewage works does Welsh Water have on its operating area? 436, 636, or 836? Just a couple of moments, we're about halfway through with the votes. So yeah, I think the vast majority of you are there. We've got 836 sewage works or wastewater treatment works. They range from small villages, very small sites, to pretty large operating sites. And just going to pass you back to Holly now, who's going to talk about a project she worked on at one of those very large sites.
I'm not sure if Galal wants to talk about his journey. I think we missed him out a second ago. Do you want to go, Galal, and then I'll talk through mine and the project?
Yeah, by all means. So I just recently came off the grad scheme. The graduate program was for 2 years, and during that time, I got to be involved in and worked on various projects throughout the different placements I was on, and I was straight from the get-go. These projects I was involved in were mainly in Southeast Wales, but that varied then from Cardiff all the way to Hereford and Newport as well. And these varied in different sizes and investments as well. One of the big projects I was part of was looking at the quality of phosphorus removal across different wastewater treatment works. And that was as part of the National Environment Programme, which outlined the improvements that are needed to be made in order to comply with new and amended environmental legislation, and then also identifies any investigations needed as a water company. The two main sites I looked at during the grad scheme was Iron and Rotherhithe wastewater treatment works. Just looking at both sites alone, we're looking at an investment of a few £1 million, and that is just two sites that I looked at during that program. I'll pass over to Holly as well.
So I started off in well, I'll start from my degree. So I studied for a master's in chemical engineering. Graduated in 2015. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yep. Okay, I'll start again. So I studied for a master's in chemical engineering. Graduated in 2015, then joined Welsh Water's graduate scheme in 2017 as a capital graduate. So a slightly different route to most of the engineers here. So I started in placements more directed towards project management for the first year. I then went into process science on the water side of the business, into a more of a hands-on operational role for the last 9 months of the graduate programme. I stayed there till September 2020 on secondment from the process engineering team. This was sort of to give me an insight into how water treatment worked day to day. So I spent most of my working week on site across Southeast Wales, responding to reactive issues or just carrying out daily optimization work in the on-site lab or around the site. I then started in the process engineering team in October 2020. So I've been here 2 years now, and I'm just about to come off my development plan within the next month or so. So moving from an assistant process engineer to a process engineer. I've been able to work on quite a few projects for a lot of different assets around the business. So on reservoirs, rivers, water treatment works and wastewater treatment works. So when I first joined, my future role was more directed towards project management, but after a while I did decide that I preferred to take a more technical role on. So the good thing about the graduate programme was that I was able to give feedback to my mentors sort of at the time, in where I saw myself in the future, and was able to get where I wanted to be, which was in a process engineering role. And it's where I am today, and I'm now working towards a chartership. One project, so you probably see on the screen, that I'm currently working on is at 5 Fords wastewater treatment works in North Wales. I'm there twice a week at the minute, collecting samples throughout the process, which I send off to our labs, and spend my working day gathering data, walking through the works to get an insight into how it's currently performing. So I'm producing quite a few calculations and a mass balance to see if we can introduce more flow and load to the aeration lanes, which I think are on the next slide, from the advanced anaerobic digestion side of the treatment works, which is what you saw on the previous. So it's definitely helped me grasp the wastewater treatment side of the business, coming over from my 2 years on the water side. So I'm still learning, and will be for quite a few years, I think.
Thanks, Holly. So should have the 4th poll on screen. So how many reservoirs are looked after by Welsh Water under the Reservoirs Act? Just a couple of moments, get everybody get their votes in. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I think most of us have got that one right as well. So Welsh Water has 131 what's defined as large raised reservoirs, which fall under the Reservoirs Act. So if you think of the 800 odd sewage works that we've got as well, there's 100 reservoirs. There's a vast estate of assets for us to operate and to maintain. So if you just move on to our next graduate, Will, who's going to talk to us about his journey so far.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us today for this webinar. Really good to have you here. So yeah, Pnawn da, my name is Will. I'm 24 and I joined the grad scheme last year after completing Bachelor's in Geological Oceanography at Bangor University, followed by an Applied Geophysics Master's degree also at Bangor University. So I'll just talk through my application process. So I applied to Welsh Water in November 2020. And then undertook the process of going through the application by submitting my CV, completing a few online tests and group interviews. And then I had the job offer in March and I accepted in March 2021. So yeah, really pleased to have had that offer. So just a bit of an outline of the graduate scheme for you. It's a 2-year programme and for me it's with 4 6-monthly placements. So the purpose of the scheme really is so that you can dip your toes into different departments, and then from that you can gather a holistic understanding of the company and the interdepartmental relationship that we've got here. So it's a really good opportunity to build a network across the company as well as with other institutions through events hosted for graduates through other organisations like the Institute of Water. No 2 days are the same. One day you could be out at site, another day you could be in meetings or a combination of both. So there's a really good balance on this scheme. And what I've had is line managers, they allocate tasks to the graduates in that specific business area. So it's a really good opportunity to get your teeth into a project in that business area. And as a result, you learn a lot about that business area in the 6 months that you spent there. So I'll just go into a bit more detail really about what I did in my placements. So my first placement was in water production. So this is where we take the raw water from the source and treat it before it's being distributed out to the customer. So I was based in Northwest Wales for that placement. There's a lot to learn in that first placement. As with any job, it's all new. It was all new to me, so I got to learn about the water treatment process, meet different teams across Wales, and get a real insight into the treatment process. I then worked on various tasks around site optimization, so making sure that everything was running at the best it could, and as a result, making the job of our frontline staff a bit easier. So my second placement, this was probably more related to civil engineering than any other placements I've done. This was with the Capital Delivery Alliance team. So this is a collaborative team who work with various stakeholders, contractors, internal and external customers. And its core function really is to deliver key projects for Welsh Water. So there's a lot of variety in the work that the team do. They work on both the clean and the waste side of the business. So they could be doing anything really in any business area. So the work carried out, that could include replacing new water mains on a small or a large scale, building new systems on a wastewater treatment works, essential maintenance on one of our assets within Welsh Water, and they're responsible for project managing various projects. The capital team work with our civil engineering team to ensure that we have designs that are robust and provide resilience to our systems with the benefits of our customers in mind. And also with everything, health and safety is top priority for the team. So they manage this with the contractors that carry out the work usually. And I've just started in my distribution placement now. So this is the team that's responsible for the network that transports the clean water from the treatment works to the customer along a network of pipes and reservoirs. So the civil engineering aspect of this placement involves working with contractors for repairs, amendments to the network, things like that. So yeah, lots of variety. Every day is the same. Every day is not the same, sorry. And I thoroughly, recommend you to apply for one of our graduate programs. You'll be challenged and you can see a progression for yourself within the scheme. Gareth will talk a bit more about that in a bit. But if we can just move over to this slide now, where you can see a picture of a rig. So this is a horizontal directional drill rig on one of the schemes I was working on over this summer. So it's a big project where we were renewing 2 water mains under the River Dee in northeast Wales. So what we did here was drill from one side of the river over to the other side along an 800-metre shot. So this was done twice, and after we'd come through at the other end and bored the hole a few times, we then pulled the new pipe through and then joined it back up to the main. So yeah, that's just one example really of one of the schemes that you could be involved with if you were to join Welsh Water as a graduate. Best of luck with any applications if you've got any coming up, and please do get in touch with us if you've got any queries about the programme or the application process. And with that, I'll pass you on to Gareth.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. That was a really good description of the placements and how you get to see the sort of the holistic bigger picture of water treatment. So yeah, I'm Gareth Humphreys. I'm a principal civil engineer in Welsh Water. And rather than talk to you about a specific project, I want to talk to you about my experiences in the company, having joined on the graduate programme and then gone on to have further development roles and how I got to the role I am today. So I graduated from Cardiff Uni in 2010 with a BEng in civil engineering. I followed that with an MSc in civil engineering in Cardiff Uni and joined the Welsh Water graduate scheme in October 2011. So it was a 2-year programme, same as it is now. And I came straight into the capital delivery department to work on the mains renewal programme in AMP5, which was asset management period 5, one of our 5-year cycles. So yeah, I got a couple of years working on loads of different types of projects as a graduate, and then after 2 years, I moved into an assistant engineer role in 2013. And during that role, I got to be placed on site in a construction project on a large spillway refurbishment. So working with the contractor and the supervisor on that. And then at a similar time, I got experience in working in design on a similar type of project. So during that sort of 2 years as an assistant engineer, I gained lots and lots of experience in a really short time. I was able to make an application to become a chartered engineer in 2015. So yeah, on the Welsh Water training agreement with the Institution of Civil Engineers, I became chartered in 2015, and then continued to work in that role for further 3 years. I worked on all types of projects, above ground, below ground, clean water, wastewater. So yeah, just for example, we designed some small sewage treatment works in North Wales. We built one in the Gower for 1,200 population. And then yeah, in 2018, I moved on to an engineering manager role, which was slightly less, a little bit less hands-on in the technical perspective, but then it became more of a management role and got to develop skills leading a team of highly skilled engineers, predominantly on a big program of dam safety projects. So I was managing resource, planning and prioritizing people's workloads. And then most recently this year, I've moved into a role as a principal civil engineer in Welsh Water, which is more of a strategic role as we sort of continue to develop our team of engineers towards the end of this AMP 7 and AMP 8 and beyond. So speaking from my own experience, it's been a great place to work. You're not thrown in at the deep end, but in this program, you're able to have a positive impact on real projects really quickly. There's plenty of support, as we were saying, with the training agreement and the mentoring. There's plenty of variation to the types of projects. So as I was saying, below ground, clean and waste, above ground, clean and waste, dams, energy projects, and even some really random stuff that are within Welsh Water's asset space. One of the benefits I found is I'm from Wales, got my education in Wales, and I've been able to sort of apply my skills in Wales and that was quite important to me. As I discussed, the progression opportunities are quite evident, because I've in the 11 years I've been there, I've held 5 roles, and they've always been another step up in the organisation, and that's probably because of the experiences I've had, the training I've had, and the mentoring and what I've had in the business. So that's all I've got planned. Is the host back?
I am back. I'm resolved all the issues. I do apologise, everyone. Thank you so much, Gareth, for
So that might be the most
taking
challenging
over.
thing I've done as a member of Welsh Water.
Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you so much, and apologies to everyone. However much testing we do, these things still happen. But yes, thank you so much to everyone on the panel there. We are going to go on to our question section now, but just before we do that, because I got cut off at the start, just to mention a few key points. So my name is Jodie Evans, and I work in the recruitment team at Welsh Water, and I'm currently looking after graduate recruitment. So we are currently open to receiving applications, and the deadline is going to be Sunday the 13th of November. So we, as Gareth mentioned earlier, it'll be for a period of a 2-year programme, and this programme that you apply to now will start in September next year, so September 2023. In terms of the sort of application process, I've shared on the slides the recruitment team email. So if you have anything, there is a website that we've also directed you to from the slides with all the information, FAQs. But if you would like more information, please do feel free to get in touch. But for today, we just wanted to focus on engineering. So we are currently advertising for electrical engineers, civil engineers, not currently process engineering, but also for a management engineering scheme. And I think there's one more that I just need to check, but it's all on our website. So if we move on to questions now, if you could all please type in the chat any questions that you have for us, and we'll see how many we can get through. And
I'm happy to pick up on one, Jodie, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely will. Yeah.
We've nothing through from Fionn here. Are there many Welsh speakers in the company? Being able to speak Welsh in my job would be amazing. Well, Fionn, I assume you're a Welsh speaker. Dwi'n siarad Cymraeg, mae Gareth yn siarad Cymraeg. Da ni'n mynd i siarad Cymraeg yn gwaith, drwy dydd, bob dydd, really. Dwi'n mynd i siarad Cymraeg efo pob yn hŷn mi yn y gogledd. Dwi'n yn gwybod am Gareth, ond bendant mae yna gyfle i siarad Cymraeg yn Dwr Cymru. Mae'r cwmni'n keen iawn i gael pobl i siarad Cymraeg, a mae yna hyfforddiant ar gael i bobl sydd eisiau dysgu Cymraeg hefyd, i fedru pigo'r iaith I fyny. So just to say in English what I said there's plenty of Welsh speakers in Welsh Water. I'm able to speak Welsh with all my team up here in North Wales. But Welsh Water as a company also offer training and support for anyone who's learning Welsh. So the option is there for you to learn once you join as well. So I hope that answers your question.
Thanks so much, Will. Lovely to hear Welsh speaking then. And just to reiterate what Will said, you know, we are a very proud sort of Welsh company, and at the same time that means, you know, we want to invite everyone to Wales, you know, and attract all talent. And as you say, if you want to learn Welsh, you can as well. We do have those options. So yeah, we are. I'm just checking if there's any more questions coming in now. I think a question I'd like to ask the panel, if that's okay, would be, what's been your greatest challenge in the graduate scheme, or being an engineer in your career so far? Anyone can answer. Or on a day-to-day, maybe, in the role.
I don't mind answering that if you like, Jod.
Yeah, go for it.
So obviously, as I was coming off my my placement, obviously COVID affected pretty much the entire country, really. But it was quite difficult at the start, and we all had to work from home, you know, to keep developing and learning new things. But obviously with using stuff like Microsoft Teams, and now we're sort of working at a hybrid sort of level where we're sort of in offices and work from home. You know, you are able to still communicate with engineers. So it was a challenge, at the start, but it's something that you quickly developed and learned to continue sort of being able to develop as an engineer. You're sort of utilizing the technology that's out there now and stuff like that, really.
Great. Thank you so much. I think we've got another question I'd like to go to. So Jake has asked, how does Welsh Water differ from the other the other water companies around the UK?
Do you want me to go for that one?
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah, so not sure if you're aware, but Welsh Water is a not-for-profit organisation. So all of the proceeds from sort of Welsh Water's customers is reinvested into the infrastructure rather than taken away as dividends. So yeah, all of the money that's generated is used to improve our assets and ultimately to try and improve and give that best-in-class customer service. So that's the main difference.
Yeah.
Because the industry is privatized and the other companies are set up slightly differently.
The other thing as well, the profit essentially is invested in the colleagues as well, colleagues through training and development, and also contributes towards our journey to net zero. It's a challenging landscape that we're dealing with, so we're always working against the elements really to ensure that we've got good quality supply. And also innovation is very high up on the list for Welsh Water as well. So there's always investment to be done in innovation. So yeah.
I would say, yeah, to pick up on Will's point about development as well, I think that's one of our priorities, and I like to think that we do go the extra mile in terms of developing employees. So we have a number of options that aren't necessarily just part of your program, but also other courses and accreditation and training that you can do, and you can sort of apply once a year as well for a course specific to something, as long as it relates and benefits what you do in some way to the job. It's something, an extracurricular sort of study that you can do. We also have a lot of internal sort of employee network groups, sorry. So there's lots of activities that go on, between people socially as well, and lots of causes that we sort of work to. I think I will just very briefly, we've got a little bit of time, I'll just briefly sort of tell you a bit about the application process, which usually applies to most of our schemes, to be honest. I can see there was a question in there about our data science scheme. So we're not actually recruiting a data science for this next scheme, but we do, and we have done so in the past. In terms of our application sort of process, so it goes from, the first step would be applying via our website, and for that you would upload your CV and some sort of key applicant data. There isn't a cover letter on that at this stage, so it's quite a quick process. You just have to kind of register to our portal, which is called Success Factors, and then you'll be led through the application. We then close, as I say, on the 13th of November. So at that point, what we do is we sort of sense check all the applications to make sure they've met the criteria that we've stipulated in the adverts. At that stage, the next step is to conduct it's an SHL online test. You can practice online as well for numerical and verbal reasoning. And then we would then sort of take a quota from those results to the next stage. And the next stage would, usually speaking, be the assessment centre, which this year, or this year's recruitment cycle to start in September next year, will be in person. Depending on the location of the scheme, it will either be in our South Wales head office or up in North Wales on site if there's applications for that area. The assessment centre can vary slightly depending on the requirements of each manager, but generally speaking, we see that entails a group exercise where we're looking for sort of communication skills and how people work as a team, how people can listen, how they can balance up arguments. And then also we would conduct an interview. So sometimes it's sort of speed interviewing, or if we're down to only a few people at the end, we would do sort of more thorough interviews. So that would be with the manager, just to find out your experience, your interest in the water industry. I think we are quite unique, actually, to come back to that question about what's our kind of USP within the industry. I think the fact that we do not 100%, but we do sort of run and operate most of the waterworks within Wales. That is quite unique in itself, and it gives us a lot of flexibility. So when you do work Welsh Water, I think I hear a lot of feedback about how interesting it is. There's such a variety of projects that you can work on, all the way from south up to North Wales, and the borders, Hereford as well. So yeah, just to give you that information. So I can't see any other questions now, so we've got a few minutes.
There's a couple of questions in there.
Is there a couple I can see people with hands with them?
So there's a question on, do we have any engineers working on CFD, so computational fluid dynamics or structural analysis, and are there any projects on mechanical stresses or similar? So the answer is yes. It's sort of part of the sort of core type of analysis we would do on a hydraulic problem. So for example, we used CFD on a service reservoir project I worked on recently, where we wanted to optimize the position of the inlet and the outlet. So we used CFD to inform that. There are people in Welsh Water who can do that work for us, engineers that do that, and we also work with our supply chain to procure it in. And just to extend that to structural analysis, that's again, yeah, we carry out structural design in the civils team on a regular basis on various types of structures, retaining walls, foundations, all kinds of things really. So yeah, that would be a core sort of part of or core deliverable of working in a civil engineering team.
Great. I've just seen another one as well. Thanks, Gareth. I think they come up the list with a voting number, sorry. So there was a question here from Samuel, who's saying, I'm currently studying for my master's degree in mechanical engineering at the University of East London, but will be done by the summer next year. Am I eligible to apply, and what are the specific skills you're looking for in applicants? So yes, Samuel, you would definitely be eligible to apply. So we are looking for people who apply now. We would usually see they would be in their final year of study due to finish in the sort of spring, summer next year. In terms of kind of, if you have already graduated as well, obviously we still welcome all applications for anyone who's graduated. In terms of skills, I mean, I might throw that out to you guys as the engineers here. I know from a sort of recruitment point of view, obviously we're looking for that teamwork, for that communication ability, but to go to the technical side, is there anything else you might look for at an assessment centre?
I think the main thing is a willingness and enthusiasm to sort of to learn, because you're doing a master's degree. We know you're going to have that base academic knowledge, and then how sort of keen are our applicants then to get involved and learn about the water industry? Because if you show aptitude and attitude, there's loads and loads of opportunities in the business and loads of progression and development. So that would probably be one of the key things, really, on top of the sort of technical stuff that you demonstrate through your degree.
One thing I found useful was gaining work experience wherever you can. I know not everyone has the luxury of having spare time, but if you do see yourself having, a quiet week, or between Christmas and the New Year, or any holidays that you get off your university work, just go after companies and ask them, can I come to see you for work experience, sort of thing, because having that extra experience is really good and really insightful as you progress in your career.
Absolutely. Thanks, Will. I think if there's any questions that are to do with our other schemes and not engineering, I'll come back to you individually. Okay, I can see there's a question there from Jennifer, but have we got any other sort of engineering related questions? Have I missed anything? Okie doke. So just to close up then, everyone, thank you so much for today, and apologies again for technical issues, but hopefully you got a really good insight to all the different areas of engineering that we cover at Welsh Water. If you're not due to graduate before September 2023, we do have a talent pool on our website. You can access that by the careers page, and you can sign up now and sort of enter details for when you would like to be contacted about jobs and openings. And as I say, in terms of sort of application tips. If you have a look at our graduate website, which should be linked from these slides, which I think GTI will send around to all participants afterwards, then you should be able to see all of the answers you need there. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you to our panel. And we hope to see your applications in the future.